Hello everyone, this is Introduction to Psychology Part 2 by Your Knowledge. Okay, so in our last video we completed the Part 1 of the Lesson 5 about social motives, and in this video we will be starting with the Part 2, which is about the types of social motives, and we will be discussing about the different types of social motives which comes under the topic of social motive. So finally, what sort of social motives will activate in an individual is dependent upon his own social experience and which is unique to himself and depends upon his ways of perceiving things, his personality makeup, learning, intelligence, etc. Now, various social motives are achievement motives, power motivation, gregariousness, aggression motivation, imitation, sympathy, and empathy. So these are all the types of motivation, social motives, which we will be discussing in this video. So let's start with the achievement motive, or we can say accomplish difficult tasks and meet standards of excellence. So the desire to accomplish difficult tasks and meet standards of excellence. Now, this was one of the first social motives to be studied in detail by McLeod in 1953, and they are task-oriented and prefer to work on tasks that are challenging and on which their performance can be evaluated in some ways, either by comparing it with other people's performance or in terms of some other standard. Now, they are persistent in their work and like to work in situations where they have some control over the outcome. Now, once successful, they tend to raise their level of aspiration realistically. And sources of achievement lies in the upbringing and environment of the child. Now, children learn by copying the behavior of their parents, and other people serve as models. Now, though such observational learning, through such observational learning, children take on many characteristics of the model, including achievement. Now, it was also found that the expectation of parents for their children also develops achievement. And parents who expect their children to work hard and to strive for success will encourage them to do so and praise them for achievement-directed behavior. And the gender differences in achievement have been found by Horner in 1972, who suggested that women actually fear success, and they realized that striving for achievement could reduce their femininity in the eyes of others and thus have fear of success. But later studies by Cherry et al. 1975 indicate that it is not the fear of success in women, but fear of social rejection that makes them low achievers. Now, Atkinson found that a person with high achievement have two tendencies: tendency to achieve success and tendency to avoid failure. And this is all about achievement motivation. And the next type of social motive is power motivation, or we can say this is honor motivation. Now, motivation to be in charge, have high status, and exert influence over others is honor motivation. And about the Winter in 1973, he defined power motivation as the ability or capacity of a person to produce either consciously or unconsciously intended effects on the behavior or emotions of another person. Now, the goal of power motivation are to influence others, to control others, to persuade others, lead, charm others, and to exchange one's own reputation in the eyes of other people. Now, here are some of the ways in which people with high power express themselves. These were the points which were given by Hoyinga and Hoyinga in 1984. Now, the first one is by impulsive and aggressive action, especially uh, by men in lower socioeconomic brackets. And by participating in competitive sports such as hockey, football, especially by men in social economic ladder, and by college men. Then the third point is by joining an organization and looking office in these organization. And then among men, by drinking and sexually dominating women, and by obtaining and collecting possessors such as fancy cars. And another way in which people express high power is by associating with people who are not particularly popular with other people and who perhaps are more easily controlled by the high power person. And by choosing occupations such as teaching, diplomacy, clergy, as to have an impact on others, and by building uh, characteristics, by building and disciplining their bodies. This seems as a special characteristics of women with strong power needs. So this was all about the power motivation, and the next social motive is gregariousness. Now, this is tending to associate with others of one's kind. Now, it refers to keep in contact with others. It is the tendency to live in groups among humans or human beings that is acquired that appears almost universally. And since human infant depends on others for a long period, satisfaction of both psychological and social motives comes to be related to the presence of other human beings, and it is seen that every man need other man's cooperation because it makes the work convenient. And alone he is afraid, but in groups he become more bold, and he bets full opportunity to show his potentialities in group. And the tendency of gregariousness is gradually decreasing in man, and because of this, deterioration in happy life is seen. So this was all about the gregariousness. The next social motive is aggression motivation, or in short, we can say desire to inflict harm on others. Now, it is the most dangerous motive, and it is the desire to inflict harm on others. And according to the statistic, more than 2 million people are knifed, shot, or otherwise assaulted each year in the United States, and more than 20, though, and of them die as a result of these attacks. An aggressive motivation often seems an occurrence of overt form of aggression or behavior directed towards the goal of injuring others, injuring another living being who wishes to avoid such treatment. Now, even though earlier psychologists such as Freud and Lawrence put forward that aggression motivation or aggression is innate, that the human being possesses a powerful built-in tendency to harm others, but most of them believe that nowadays most believe that aggression, like many other form of motivation, is elected by a wide range of external evils and stimuli such as external heat, increase in temperature, which we can say, or exposure to aggressive models. For example, watching WWF programs or WWE programs on television, which should be avoided, and intake of alcohol and a type of behavior pattern. So these are the external events or stimuli which we can say which takes part in the aggression motivation. Now, growing evidence also indicate that factors such as biological or genetic also play a role in the occurrence of a violent crime. They also have they such kind of people have lower than normal amount of serotonin in their brains. And apart from this, uh, it has also been conversed that frustration, that is the thwarting or blocking of goal-directed behavior, causes aggression. And aggression often stems from frustration when and only it is unexpected and is viewed as unfair and illegitimate. Now, moreover, aggression has been found to be learned in culture. Now, Osterville in 1992 researched that differences in child rearing practices lead to different expression of aggression. Now, Israeli mothers believe that aggression should be expressed outside that family, but the family, the Japanese mother, believe that it should be within the purview of the family so that it will do no serious harm. And it has also been found that certain tribes by nature are aggressive and some by themselves soft and peaceful. Now, controlling human aggression becomes an important step because much of the research seems to indicate that it is the learned having environmental and social factors. Now, hence, if the instigators once that produce aggression are removed, aggression might be expected to decrease. So this was all about the aggression motivation. The next social motive is imitation, which is imitating others. It's all about imitating others. Now, it is a common knowledge that a child learns his activities, habits, and behaviors by imitating others, sometimes imitating grown ups without knowledge of what he is doing. Now, the power of imitation is stronger in human beings because they can make more minute distinctions. And it is not necessary that he may observe all the details or that he may imitate immediately, but he does copy. And this tendency varies with capacity of imitation in the individuals and the characteristics of the models, even on the need to imitate. So this was all about the imitation. And the next social motive is sympathy or empathy, which is about experiencing similar though less intense feelings. Now, seeing another person in serious trouble, a sympathetic person experiences a similar though less intense feeling. Now, some people cannot back their tears when they see another person crying or on hearing a tragic story. Now, this is empathizing, which we can say understanding and feeling the pain and anguish of others. And this is not a universal need, as many people are sadistic by nature, that is, they laugh while others are in pain. So this was all about the sympathy and empathy, and this was all about today's video. So if your concept is clear, you can like the channel, you can like our video. If not, you can ask us in the comment section and we will be happy to help you out. Plus, if you're new to this channel, you can subscribe to our channel, subscribe to Dear Knowledge, click on the bell icon so you will never ever miss any notification. Plus, you can share the link of this channel, link of our videos with your family members and friends, because sharing is caring. And till then, Allah Hafiz.